So what is the next? Well, today I got another deck profile for you guys with the Towa lead from the anniversary box. I was really excited to test her out. At first, I thought she was a little bit underwhelming, but when you combine with all the black support cards we have here, she actually puts up a fair matchup against a lot of decks just because she has a lot of silver bullets in her possession, in her control. Basically, it kind of lets you burst the three that you need for the overwhelm, and then you also can look at the top five cards of your deck, and then you can search out a mirror or a foo. I don't know why a mirror or a foo because the other Towa cards let you search out a mirror and a mass sand. But these ones are going towards the foo combination, so maybe they're going to be coming out with more foo cards because we know they definitely came out with more mass Saiyan support. So it'd been kind of fun to use this as a mass Saiyan mirror combination, but instead we're just going for the foo support, which we don't play too much here. But we're going to try to go in. So, like I said, the leader has that activate main once per turn, burst three cards from the top of your deck, and then look at the top five card of your deck, look for a mirror or a foo card, and then add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. It has a waking, one of the unique awakings. You don't do it at 4 life or anything else. You actually do it at 10 cards in your warp, 10 black cards in your warp. Um, excuse me, and then or does it, or actually it just has to be 10, yeah, 10 black cards or more in your warp, and then you untap one energy and draw one card, which is really good for her. This is probably one of the best ones because untapping two energy is nice, but you really want to keep your hand advantage because this deck doesn't draw too much, and she doesn't draw on her backside too, so getting that +1 draw is really good. On her backside, she has activate main once per turn, choose 3 black cards from your warp, so they have to be all black, add them to your drop, and then you can choose one mirror card and give it critical. Now that seems a little lackluster because it'd been nice to get like a little bump as well, like 5K bump or something like that. But the critical is really good just because usually you use that ability to, or that skill, to try to go for game or try to apply more pressure. This deck was focused around a lot of critical attacks at first, but then I kind of just mix it all. Since we're only allowed to play with the mirror cards, I kind of just mix it all with like hand control and also life control. So just kind of bounce that out. Then it also has activate main skill as well, which is really unique because once per turn during your opponent's turn, you pay one energy and drop one card from your hand to your drop area, just to kind of fill it up more for your warp. And you can choose up to one keyword skill on a battle card and basically negate it. So if they have like triple strike and they're trying to come out you, you can just pay that energy and drop one card, and you can just negate it. That way you only take a single strike, or if they have dual attack or things like that. Um, that kind of seems a little lackluster because you do have to minus yourself one from your hand and then also pay energy. But that's kind of like in crucial situations that you want to play that. So that's really good. It's not once per game; it's once per turn. So that's pretty good too. But then you have to negate it after that. But so for our one drop cards that allowed us to replenish our hands and also stop our opponents from aggressing if they have those kind of plays, we have that Dende new to the job. If you guys didn't know what he does, all these black battle cards, by the way, do have deflect. These one droppers, these silver bullets. If you didn't know what he does, obviously he has that auto draw one. They all have auto draw one, which is really good too. Activate main, pay 2 energy, place this card in the drop area, and for opponent, basically added energy, uh, added energy to their energy area without going through like the normal steps. You can basically neg them one energy, and you get to choose, which is really good. I wish it would have said send it to the warp instead of send it to the drop, but this is before all those warp cards that were coming into play and things like that. So, yeah, during this game, choose one of your opponent's energy and place it in the drop area. So as soon as they activate that objection, Dende can now go off anytime. They don't have to like play it and then like kind of like Borgos, like they have to untap energy first and then you can Borgos them once per turn. Dende doesn't have to do once per turn. As soon as they place an energy like a Goku Black or objection or anything like that, then you can just go ahead and activate Dende any point of the game. Like you can just take them down all the way to zero energy potentially, but it will cost you 2 energy to activate it, 1 energy to play this guy. Okay, then we're running 2 Kami global unifiers because he's so good. It's activate main. This pay 2 energy. When your opponent has 4 more battle cards in play, you can choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, with 4 costs of less, and KO them. So you clear, and then you clear the whole field. So it's you and your opponents battle cards. So as soon as your opponents have 4 cards on their side of the field, and you have like 2 on your side or 1 on your side, everything gets KO'd at that point. 4 or less. So if you have some big boss cards like 5 or higher, they get to stay, and so does your opponents. If they have 5 or higher, they get to stay too. So it's not that broken, but it does nuke the field, which is really good of those like little spammers. Then we have one no escape Son Goku because Gogeta BR does kind of hurt us because we don't really leave um, battle cards on the field for too long, so they can kind of go turn 4 and just attack us and kind of drop that the higher Gogeta that basically neg us or minus us 2 life just because they played it. We don't really want to get into that, so we want to stop all their plays with the no escape Son Goku because Auto, when you play this card, basically he's kind of like a time control Konoha. Your opponent cannot add cards to their hand with a non-keyword skill, so that includes autos and things like that. This also stops that path to infinite combinations with the Son Goku, where they can bounce back to like the Ultra Instinct and things like that using the World Martial Arts cards. So we're going to shut that down too, because they won't be able to bounce any cards back to their hand, so that's going to be completely useless. So we're going to play that guy too. Then we got Supreme Kai of Time, Time Disruptor, just to stop all the aggression plays. It's a counterplay card, which is really good. So as soon as they play a card, any card doesn't have to be a 1-drop or anything like that. You can play this card from your hand by paying that 1 energy, and then you get to for the duration of the turn, your turn and your opponent's turn, you guys cannot attack with energy cost of 2 or less. So we're shutting out any like Intensify Pound Trunks. We're shutting down any of those Son Goku or those Kid Goku plays with the 2-drop Krillin, bringing out another 2-drop. We're shutting down all that until the start of their next turn. We can attack as well, so just remember that. That's how it works. It shuts down two cost plays, kind of like Crisis Crusher, for until your opponent's next turn. But you also get the draw one, which is really good. So I like to play this guy just to kind of, I tap 1 energy, but I get a 5k common pound and an extra card in my hand, so that's really good. Then we're going to actually play 2 time control Konohas. I got 3 here, but I'm actually limited that down to 2. Just because we play a lot of Toki Tokis, which is our next card. This card is really good because it shuts down Shigesh. We're going to be attacking with our big guys like Mirror, our Foos, and everything like that. We want these guys to go through without any surprises. We don't need Shigesh just popping its head out, just kind of like doing some ridiculous plays. We really don't want to test that out. So we're going to respect the Shigesh and shut it down. Basically, it just says when you play this card, draw 1 card, and your opponent, your opponent may not play battle cards from their hand with the skill of a card that has super combo in its name for the duration of the game. So as soon as you drop a time control Konoha, there is no Shigesh at all happening. So that's really good. Then we're playing 4 Toki Toki Time Creator, and I'm going to tell you why we're playing 4. One, we want to make sure that if we're playing against any of these decks, that Gogeta BR, that Path to Great, Path to Infinite Son Goku, we're playing like spammers, like those 1-dropper guys and everything like that. We want to be able to get our Dendays, our Kamis, our No Escape Son Gokus, and especially our Time Control Konoha as fast as we humanly possibly can. And Toki Toki is so good because it allows us to get any one of these 4 cards from our deck. So as long as they're in our deck. We only play 2, so hopefully they're not in our life. So it's like we play 4 Toki Toki Time Creators because it has deflect. All these guys got deflect, like I said. When you play this card, you may place it at the top of your deck, and if you do, you bring out one of these cards, 1 black card with an energy cost of 1 and 3,000 attack power from your deck and play it. So it's really good. And the reason why we also play 4 of these guys is because we need to shuffle our decks because we're playing Vegeta Time Regulator, who places all the cards that we get into the bottom of our deck. So we don't really want to keep them to the bottom of the deck unless we have some serious plays. So we want to shuffle it around so we can grab those cards, like our super combos and things like that. We're playing 4 Towa Space Time Unleashed because we do need a Towa card for these plays to work. So don't forget about that. There's only a limited amount of Towas, and I like this one because it adds a card to our hand. And it costs less, so it's really easy, and it's only 5k combo power, so it's really easy to get into the drop if we need it. So I really like that. So what this card does is the auto, when you play this card, you look at the top 7 cards in the top of your deck and choose 1 Mirror or Master Saiyan among them and add it to your hand. We have no Master Saiyan in this deck profile just because the Mirror and Food kind of works a little bit better with our leader. Then we have 4 Vegeta Time Regulars because having like 2 of these guys in the battle area is really good. It's just really good plays. Having 4 would be insane, but you gotta watch out for the commies. I wish he was at like a little bit higher than 15k because he makes him it just makes him just easier target for like, is that all you got? is for Revenge Death Ball and things like that. If he was like 16k, that'd be fine. 19k would have been made more sense. But 2 costs though, I understand there's no 2 costs like that. So like I said, 16k would have been better. I'm not gonna tag with this guy, so I don't really care. But I just want him to get around those negative 15k things those red decks have. You know, and if you didn't know what Vegeta does, as auto once per turn, when you overwhelm or when you play a battle card using Overwhelm, you can place 2 black cards with the energy cost of 7 from your warp into the bottom of your deck. So up to. So you can just place 1, or you can place 0 if you like. But if you did place 1 to the bottom of your deck, so I like to do just 1 sometimes because we do want to keep some cards in our warp just for our combos. Then you can draw 1 card and it replenishes your hand. So that's what we're using Vegeta for, is to replenish our hand and to get a plus Janemba, of course. Janemba can only Kami this away or Demon Sword this away, but that's still 1-for-1 odds. So it's like, because we kind of want to keep these guys at a on the battle area, and then once they warp it, that's fine. We can get it back with its own ability, Vegeta Time Regulator. They've been playing 4 Relentless Destruction Mirror just because it's a mirror card. Also has an Overwhelm of 3, so as soon as we burst, we can instantly play this card. And as an auto, when you play this card, use it Overwhelm, your opponent must drop 1 card from the hand. So if we're playing Janemba, we're going to really hammer him down with this guy. Just kind of get our plays on. And then we attack him and then try to... We don't really care about replenishing him. We want to get them to a lower life. It's not about just destroying their hand and kind of focusing on that. This is not what the deck is really made for. At least how I play it, I don't really try to crippleize my opponent, just because if I try to focus on that, then I'm going to put myself in a sticky situation where I'm battling out, calming my hands, calming my skill, my plays, trying to keep them at like two cards in their hand. I don't really care so much as they're keeping cards in their hand. I just want to make sure that I'm limiting my opponent, not crippling them to where they're literally going, okay, that's what they're focusing on just by hand. I'm going to try to take them out. I don't typically play like that, even though like so I play Janemba and things like that. Janemba's kind of like a luck. Like if they have their secret rares in their hand and things like that, they're gonna wait until turn 4, turn 5 to play it, or they have the Brawly secret rare, they're gonna wait until they're down to 1. So it's kind of different. But I know a lot of people like to play like the crippling hidden instruction, which is not really my cup of tea. But anyways, Mirror from the Darkness, we're playing for these guys. It's a 20k crit when it's used with Overwhelm. That's so good. It only costs 4 Overwhelm of 4. So no, it just basically play it when you have 4 cards in your drop with ease. Just attack them, put a little pressure on your opponent, or clear the field if you need to. Just because it's 20k body. They've been playing 1 Banisher Fu. I really wanted to play more of these guys, but with that 1, it is an Overwhelm of 5 with a cost of 1, so it's one of our more expensive Overwhelms in the deck. But that 1 cost energy cost just makes it a little bit too long, and I just see more of a use out of it with the playstyle I'm trying to use for. So when you play this card with Overwhelm, you can banish 1 card in your opponent's side of the battle area. So that's really good. And as Double Strike, it's just I wanted to get more plays out basically, and like I can pretty much Overwhelm every single turn, and Banish the Food is kind of like one of those things where you only use it to really try to take away your minus your opponent off the battle area. You know, get something crucial off the battle area. They've been playing 5 of the new Marrow Self Reformation. This card makes the deck. You take out the other mirror that you usually do, you overwhelm it basically, and you pay 4 energy. We're getting rid of all that because 1, that card I don't think had deflect on it. We need a card that has deflect. This card has deflect, and it also has double strike. And let me tell you why that's a really good, because when you do, it has Union Absorb, and when you do Union Absorb, you can actually attack with this card, and then Union Absorb, and it comes out in active mode because of its Union Absorb skill, which is so good. So basically, it's like choose 1 Towa card from your warp and place it on top of this card. So it has to be from your warp, so you have to overwhelm it. So one way or another. And you place it on top of this card. And if your leader card is a Towa card or Android card, you can choose up to 1 mirror card from your deck with an energy cost of of 7, and place it on top of this card in active mode. And then shuffle your deck, obviously. So the other mirror lets you play it from your warp in your hand. This one goes from your deck. I wanted to play both, but long story short, I always play this one more because it could put more pressure on my opponent and it had deflect. When I'm playing against a yellow deck or a green deck, I was so hesitant to play that mirror because it's a 4 drop or it's a 3 drop or whatever. And then it's like, okay, they had preemptive strike me, and I'm like, okay, cool, great, I didn't lose any energy, that's fine. But at the same time, now like I can drop this other mirror self reformation, but I already lost overwhelm too. Like I don't want to lose the overwhelm just because I was trying to bait that out. I'd rather play the mirror self reformation, tack them, make them use that energy up, or something, and then play the Union Absorb to put more pressure. So Boss Daddy card of them all, we have Mirror Creator Absorb. This guy is what we're going to be going for. He's already a beat stick just because of his play. So before I go into the Union plays, he has a overham of 4. You just need 4 cards in a drop and 1 energy. That's insane. He's a 30k beat stick already. But when he attacks, he gets 5k power, attack power, every time he attacks, and gains for each card in your warp. That is insane. And then he has deflect. You cannot stop this guy from coming out. There's just nothing you can do. Yeah, you can Mateo it, I believe. Obviously, to put him in defense or rest mode when he comes out. That's a given. You can always do that, which kind of sucks. That's why I see, like, I've thought about playing like minus Killing Zone, but a lot of cards have deflect. Like if you're running Mateo, you're running Mateo. As soon as I start seeing that come out more and becoming more of a problem, I'll put minus Killing Zone in this. But then he has an auto. When this card is brought out by Union, he gains double strike. Yeah, he gains double strike for the duration of the turn, and your opponent drops 3 cards from their hand and sends it to the warp. That is so good. So you're minusing your opponent 3 as soon as you bring this guy out, just making your plays more like crucial, more vital, like when you're attacking your opponent. If that doesn't work, we have Food Dark Banisher for the next turn. This guy is really good because he has triple attack, overwhelm of 8 though, unfortunately, and costs 4 energy. But he has a permanent when your opponent tries to activate a skill, they have to warp a card from their hand first. And this goes from super combo, awakening, anything. When they want to do something other than combo out or play a card normally, they have to warp a card. Now they don't, if they wanted to awaken and not draw 2 or something, or awaken, they have to warp a card. But if they want to attack with their auto, and like with their leader, most leaders says when this card attacks, draws a card. They don't have to draw that card. They don't have to warp anything, so they can just say no, I'm not gonna do it. Basically, as in like, I'm not gonna take the auto because I don't want to warp. The warp is a price, and if they don't want to pay the price, they don't get the auto. It means they can just attack for the standard and not draw, basically. They're running for the super combos, Supreme Kai of Time, World Protector. This card is really good because we just need 5 cards in a warp, and we're really pressing on getting as many cards in our warp as fast as possible. So this guy is really good too. So we get to draw 1. The only bad thing is it's a 0k combo power. So if you don't have 5 cards in your warp, this is a dead card in your hand. So they're running. The only extra cards we're running is 4 power bursts. The reason why we run this because having like a few negates is always good. Also, it has sparking, so when we do awaken, we can put this guy, or we can use it sparking ability just because we're putting cards back to our warp, just so it set up more plays, and it lets us bring out our 1-drops, so we can get back our like Supreme Kais, our No Escape Goku's, or more so Kamis and Dende's, just because we probably won't need the No Escape Goku's or Time Konohas anymore. Anyways, that's my deck profile for the Towa. It's pretty fun so far. I've been playing a little bit competitively, so it's like I said, it's pretty fun. It's one of the most fun decks I've actually played just because I like to get my combos off. And then I liked all the black leaders. Like I play a lot of Matt Sand. I play a lot of the dark power mass Saiyans, like the Vegeta. And I'm trying to get Demiga going too as well. Demiga's a little harder. Maybe when a new set comes out, like the Toki Toki City and things like that. But it's like it's not really. It's just doesn't really get me yet. But the Towa works really well. I've yet to use its secondary skill yet, but man, that burst in 3 and searching for a mirror and things like that really keeps your hand replenished. So, and overwhelm has always been fun. So this is my deck profile. Hope you guys like it. If you guys are new, go ahead and go subscribe. If you guys like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys have any suggestions, comments, or things I should work on, then go ahead and leave it down there in the comment below. So also the card I wanted to add to take out the one to Konoha is another Fu the Dark Banisher. Just put him at 3 because he's such a good card. I play in my Choppa deck now, and he's such a vital card in that Choppa deck. So he puts a lot of pressure on our opponent. He can get Cold Bloodlust, which kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, he's just really good overall. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you guys next time.